All right, guys, we're going to actually start getting into a lot more of the actual automations that I use and how they work and how you could create something similar. If you want to get your copy of my exact automation, you can go to my Story Hacker Gold program down below. I'll have a note about that later. But this is an automation that is simple, but actually super powerful. And don't let any of the AI haters out there say that using AI will make you a worse writer or a worse storyteller, because this automation is kind of proof that that is not the case. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about my automation that is, I'm just calling up here, it's called the Short Story Hack. Okay. And there's a reason why my group is called the Story Hackers, right? Because a lot of it is all about just going through actual bestsellers and other successful stories and using AI to sort of figure out how they work. And then using that practical knowledge to inform our own storytelling capability. And this is one of my favorite automations, even though you can tell it's not that big. There's only one AI agent part of it, but it creates some very interesting results. So what this does is you start out with a Google Doc that has everything that you want to analyze. So you can have just one short story in it, and that will be fine, but you could also have multiple short stories in it. So in order to work with this specific automation, you need to make sure that that document has a clear H2 heading for each of the short stories. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to do this properly. So what we're going to look at is, first of all, this has a manual execution trigger. So you just click a button and it starts. And then it creates a document where the story hacked information is going to go. Then it downloads a file here. Now, if we click on this, you can specify the actual file ID of the Google Doc that you're planning on doing. And we're here under Google File Conversion. We want to make sure this is set to HTML right here, because we need to download the HTML of the short story. And then what I have here are two little code nodes that I created. And I'm not a coder, but I use tools like Perplexity to help me vibe code the whole, what goes into these. There's not a whole lot. If we double click on this, you can see like this is a very small amount of code. Very little needed here. There's a little bit more in this one, which what this one does is it takes the information it got and it splits it up by the headers. So it looks through the HTML, finds where the H2 headers are, and says, okay, everything between these two H2 headers, we're going to chunk that specific piece of text. And it does that for the whole document. So it creates all of these different chunks of text to then run our automation on it. So we run through those two code things, and then it starts a loop. So that the loop, it means that we're going to be running these two steps on each chunk of text as it is split up. And then once it gets to the end of these two steps, it loops back around and starts on the next chunk, and so on and so forth. So the prompt for this one, which by the way, in the past, I've been using Gemini 2.5 Pro. Now I could probably update this to Gemini 3, or even... Honestly, some of this you could probably, because this is almost a summary type thing, you could almost get away with a less expensive model. But because we're trying to do a deep analysis and we want it to be smart about it, we'll leave that at Gemini 3 for now. It's not that expensive, to be honest. But let's look at the actual prompt for this. So under the prompt user message, if we open this up, it'll say, here's the section of text you will analyze. And then it pulls in the text that it got from the previous step, which was the step that started the loop, essentially. So it essentially inserts the short story that we're going to analyze right here. Given the above short story, please follow these steps. Make sure to answer all the questions for each step. First is the summary. Create a 5 to 6 sentence summary of the events of the chapter or scene. And actually, I could probably change this to short story. Use the character names instead of pronouns. Summarize the direct events of the scene only. Do not provide commentary of the scene. And then we have the conceptual hook. Do a deep analysis of the short story to uncover what the primary hook is for that short story. What makes it interesting? What makes the story stand out? What is the concept of the story, and what can we learn from it as writers? And then we have it give information about characters. So it lists every character that appears in the scene and some information on them, including what is their heart's desire, aka the thing they want most in the story. How does that heart's desire change over the course of the short story? Do they get it in the end? And I include this because of a book that I read from a Writers of the Future winner who talked about this being one of the most important things in a short story, is making sure your main character has a very clear heart's desire. So I make sure that we identify that in the short stories we're analyzing. Next comes world building and setting. Write out key setting or world building elements mentioned or important to the specific scene or that the scene takes place in, etc., etc. Then I have analyze like specific plot beats in the short story, including the inciting incident and what's the conflict. We have it look for the magic sword because this is another one I got from that same book. In every short story, the protagonist should gain some ability, item, knowledge, companion, or other tool that will help them in their quest to solve the problem of the inciting incident. This is not a literal sword, but can be anything of power that can defeat the opposing force if the protagonist can get their hands on it, or perhaps they already have it in their possession, but they have no idea how to wield it effectively. Identify what this magic sword is in this story. And then we go into a series of try-fail cycles, and every short story has these, every novel has these, where there are usually 1 to 4 try-fail cycles, aka moments when the protagonist tries to solve the problem presented in the inciting incident, fails, then tries again. So we have to identify what those are. And then finally, what's the climax? What's the denouement? And I have it select some of the best examples of prose from the short story to give us an idea of like what does the good prose sound like? And then I just have some formatting information at the end. And I always end with this just to make sure it's formatting correctly and has the correct headers and all of that. I also like to put a note like this in almost all of my prompts where I say, do not include any preamble or post-summary commentary of the scene, just provide the headings and the summaries as outlined. And that's to avoid it to be having things like, here is your detailed summary of this short story. I don't want it to do that. I just wanted to give me the summary and no like intros like that. And so I give it information about how to format each of these things that I just kind of went over already. And that's it. And then in the next step, it updates the document where this goes. So for this, it's pulling the idea of the node earlier over here where we have it create the story hack document. So it pulls the ID from that document right here. And then here, it just includes the output of the previous step. And then it'll continue and loop around so that it'll continue putting the output of multiple stories into the same document. That's assuming you have multiple short stories in a single document. All right, so let's actually take a look at the actual document for an example of this. And by the way, if you want this specific automation for yourself, you can get it by joining my Story Hacker Gold group. It is open right now, this week only, because we usually have it on a waiting list, but it is open to the public right now, and it will be going up in price by the end of the year. Well, we'll be closing it down, and then the next time it opens up, it will be at a higher price. It's currently $47 a month. It will be $67 a month. My goal is for it to eventually be worth $100 a month or more. So if that sounds interesting to you, go check the link down below because we will be closing that down in like just a few days. So go check that out, and hopefully you can join us. All right, so here is a document that is an example of some story hacks of the Writers of the Future anthology that they put out every year. I ran one of those anthologies through this prompt specifically because in my Story Hacker Gold group, we have a quarterly challenge to write a Writers of the Future submission without the use of AI, because AI is not allowed. But I think it's worth practicing a little bit here and there to actually write the prose yourself. I think there's value in that. But we use AI in every way that we can legally in order to submit to this thing, just not in the actual prose. So as part of that, we have regular classes during the month of that challenge where we really study these stories, and we do so having hacked the stories themselves. So here is a good example of one such thing. So the title of the short story here, in this case, was Storm Damage by T.R. Noss. These are short stories that won the Writers of the Future, so we can actually get a sense of what was it about the story that was so good? How can we try and emulate something similar? And here we go. We've got the summary. Dr. Gregor's a scientist researching time manipulation, is escorted by the skeptical Captain Kushner to investigate a powerful tachyon energy reading at a remote cottage, right? And so forth. It just gives us the full summary of the thing. And this, by the way, is from the Writers of the Future Volume 41, which you can buy on Amazon. And I bought it in order to do this, obviously, to make sure that I was legally in my rights to do so. Otherwise, this would be illegal to do any kind of post-processing like this on a book that I do not own. The conceptual hook. The primary hook is a high-concept sci-fi morality play that pits personal ambition against the salvation of humanity. The story is interesting because it subverts the typical protagonist journey. We follow a character we believe is on a mission of discovery, only to learn he is the story's primary threat and the cause of the apocalypse he's investigating. This twist forces the reader to reevaluate the character's motivations and the very notion of scientific progress. The concept writers can learn from is the power of the Faustian bargain as a central theme. Is a personal dream worth a collective nightmare? And how inverting the protagonist/antagonist dynamics creates a memorable and thought-provoking narrative. All right, so we can look at that and be like, okay, that's interesting what it did there. And then we have the list of characters and what they're all about, including their heart's desire, which for this character is to have his theories of time manipulation validated by the scientific community and to achieve a permanent celebrated legacy for his life's work. This desire does not change. It hardens into a defiant refusal to sacrifice his dream. He does not get it. Instead, his entire existence is erased from time. So there's information like that about each of the characters. And then we have the world building information here. About all of the different settings, including like the cottage on a cliff and the tachyon energy, all those elements. We have an identification of what the inciting incident is, what the main conflict is, what the magic sword is, the different try-fail cycles that go on in this story, the climax of the story, the denouement of the story. Here are some prose examples from the story. In the distance, he could see thick gray clouds producing a new explosive plumes in a rhythm of constant motion that brought the tempest closer to them. And so on. And then that's it. And then we move on to the next short story in the bunch and continue on from there. And so this is a really great way, especially if you're reading the story itself and then using this as kind of a study guide alongside. It's a really fantastic way to really understand what makes a good story and how the storytelling brings these stories to life. In the next video, I'm going to give you another automation like this, but one that works for a whole novel, not just for a short story. So stay tuned for that. And once again, check out my Story Hacker Gold program if you're interested, because the price is going up very soon and it will not be open for much longer. So check that out, and I will see you in the next video.